There's a question I've been asked probably hundreds of times, and we as a horror community have debated probably hundreds of times. That question is, if Michael Myers and Jason were to fight, who would win? What's up, you guys? Nick here at the Lost River Drive-In, and I wanted to do this little video today because I've been asked about it recently. We talked about it on the podcast, and I honestly get asked it a lot, and, I think all of us debate it amongst each other from time to time. Who would win in a Michael Myers versus Jason Voorhees fight, and why? Obviously, there's no objective answer here. Obviously, this is going to just be my opinion, and I'll give my reasons why. But I thought it'd be fun. I thought it'd be fun to do a little video like this and kind of give you guys my thoughts on it. Now, I'm not trying to show my bias too much. I'm wearing a Hellraiser shirt, okay? I didn't want to lean too much into my Michael Myers Halloween bias. Obviously, you guys know, if you know me, that is my franchise. I love those movies. Michael Myers is my dude. I genuinely do believe that he is the king, and nothing will ever change my mind on that. But I'm going to be as objective as possible here. All right, so choose your fighter, Michael Myers or Jason Voorhees. Now, when it comes to Jason, Jason didn't really come into his own as people know him and love him today until about the final chapter. But then you had this weird part 5, which I do love, that wasn't Jason, and then really began to get ramped up with Zombie Jason and Jason Lives. And that's usually the version that people think of when they think of Jason. They think of Jason Lives, or The New Blood, or Takes Manhattan, or Jason X. That's what you normally think of. Part of that is Kane Hodder. Part of that is it's just when Jason was at his absolute meanest. Now, what do I mean by that? What advantages does Jason have? Well, first of all, Jason is obviously really good in the wilderness. I mean, having lived there pretty much against his own will his entire life, he is good with almost hunting you down like an animal. It's something that he, I feel like, would pride himself in if he could think at all, which I don't know how many brain cells are there. And we'll get to that later. But he's very animalistic. He's very resourceful. On top of that, it's the brute strength. Once he comes back in part 6, he is literally a zombie. This guy is no longer human. There's nothing about him that would resemble a human. He's very, very matter of fact. He's brutal. He's stronger. He uses different weapons. There's more unique methods of killing people. Jason is ruthless from Jason Lives on. Now, there are moments in the final chapter. There are moments in part 3. There's even a few moments in part 2. But really, the Jason you know and love started in part 6. And that, I think, is what everybody reveres. You also think about Freddy vs. Jason and even Derek Mears' portrayal in the remake. Having said all of that, Jason also has a couple advantages on Michael. Jason is a soulless, emotionless being. All he knows is killing. He doesn't really, there's a few times throughout the franchise where he does take a liking to someone because they look like his mom or whatever it might be, or they invoke his mother and it makes him stop in his tracks. But Jason's going to kill. It's just what he's going to do. If you're in his way, you're going to die. And you're going to die in a heinous way. Whether it's a sleeping bag being beat against a tree, whether it's a sleeping bag being caught on fire, or whether it's a harpoon gun to the face. Jason's going to find what's near him, use what's near him, and kill you in a brutal, brutal way. That's Jason Voorhees' MO. Now we flip the coin to Michael Myers. See, up until Rob Zombie's movies, I don't even think this was a question. I think the only Michael Myers you could have even made a slight argument for against Jason Voorhees would have been The Curse of Michael Myers. That Michael Myers is very ruthless, very cold and calculated, and brutal, brute force. That is kind of his thing in that movie. But that all changed in 2007. See, when Rob Zombie came around and gave us his take on Halloween, Michael Myers was gigantic. He was tall, he was strong, he was just a monster. An absolute monster. The scene that really hammers that home for you is the scene in the bathroom with Joe Grizzly. This is a huge man getting his ass whipped by Michael Myers. And then obviously as Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 came along, you really got to see an animalistic Myers that kind of lived off the lay of the land and really, really was just hunting. He was looking for prey. He was just kind of doing his own thing. And if people came across him, well, you're going to die. And he might even eat your dog. That was Michael Myers. Then came in Blumhouse's trilogy. And Blumhouse's trilogy was really interesting because Halloween 2018 made a case that Michael Myers was purely and simply evil. He just wanted to kill. There was no method, no rhyme or reason for why he was doing what he was doing. It wasn't this familial connection, nothing like that. You're a person, you're near me, you're gonna die. I'll find what's near me and I'll kill you. But it wasn't until Halloween Kills when you really got to see Michael Myers just absolutely morph into this just creature of death. I mean, Halloween Kills with a body count of 31 kills by Michael Myers. That's insane. That is unheard of in a modern slasher movie, which is why that movie has kind of garnered the moniker of being an ultra slasher for the modern day, because it literally is that. It is just slice and dice. Slash, you're dead, on to the next one. That's Halloween Kills. That version of Michael Myers was easily the most brutal Myers we had seen since Halloween 2 2009, and still is probably the most brutal Michael Myers we've ever seen. Then Halloween Ends would kind of undercut your argument because Michael is old and beaten down and is dispatched pretty easily in that movie, all things considered. So, you know, it kind of leaves a taste in your mouth after it, like, could this Michael take Jason Voorhees? So let's just give them at their peak going against each other. Or how about we just go era by era? So the Jason Voorhees from Fridays 1 through 4 versus the Michael Myers from Halloween's 1 through, let's say, 4? That's a tough question. It really, really is. But I'm going to have to give the nod to Michael Myers. And there's a reason why for that. Michael Myers is super intelligent. It is on display in all of these movies. I think that Michael Myers, whereas younger Jason really wasn't, he was definitely a bit more, I don't know what you would say. He was careless. He wasn't as refined. And he obviously wasn't reanimated and super strong. So I'd give it to Michael Myers because especially in the first two movies, Michael Myers is more or less like an embodiment of evil, just in a vessel, driven by evil, not really driven by the mechanizations of being a human. Then we come to the next era. Halloween 5 and 6, I'd say, versus Jason in, let's just say part 6, just part 6. I'm going Jason part 6. I am. Look, Jason Lives Jason. It's a great performance, but also he would just outmatch Michael. He would outmatch Michael. Halloween 5, as much as I love that movie, and Halloween 6, I still think that he'd be bigger, stronger. Although Michael Myers is smarter, I'm giving it to Jason in that era. I am. In the next era, Halloween H2O and Halloween Resurrection, let's just say versus The New Blood and Jason Takes Manhattan, it's without a doubt Jason Voorhees. Without a doubt. Michael wouldn't stand a puncher's chance. Not that version of Michael. Brad Laree and Krista Rand, you know, whether you like those movies or not, their performances and their portrayals of Michael just, they don't really strike fear in you. You know, they're a little undersized. They're kind of a little robotic. I think Jason from part 7 and 8 would absolutely whoop their asses. Now let's do Jason Goes to Hell and Jason X versus Rob Zombie's Halloween films. Look, guys, this one's difficult. Because in Jason Goes to Hell, Kane looks absolutely incredible. He is beefed up, but he's hardly in the movie. Having said that, though, Uber Jason and Jason X, I feel like he could take anybody on. As much as I love Tyler Mane's portrayal, and I do love his portrayal, I think personally that I do think Jason X and Jason Goes to Hell's Jason, in any form, could probably take him. Though I think it would be a knockdown, drag-out fight. Like, I think both of them would walk away with a shitload of wounds, and nobody's walking away feeling good about themselves. Jason might walk away missing 2 legs and an arm, but he technically won. But that would probably be the best era to fight. Now, we get Freddy versus Jason, or, you know, because Ken Kersinger's portrayal is very different. So, Derek Mears, pick or choose, either one of them, versus Blumhouse's Michael Myers. Throwing Halloween Ends in there will definitely kind of color your opinion one way or the other because he is very beaten down and old, but I'm going based off of what I saw at his apex. In both of these portrayals, the apex is clearly 2009's Friday the 13th and clearly Michael Myers and Halloween Kills. That's the apex in this era. What do I think would happen? I think it'd be just like the last time. I really, really do. The last era I talked about, it'd be a knockdown, drag-out fight. But you know what? I'm going Michael Myers. And I'm going Michael Myers for one specific reason. In 2009's Friday the 13th, Jason is bested. He is killed. Dead. Now, obviously, cliffhangers for sequels and whatnot, but he got ground up. In Halloween Kills, Michael Myers takes everything thrown at him. Bullets, baseball bats, ironing boards. Yeah, he did that. And he lives. Gets up and kills an entire mob of people with a knife. Look, I obviously am biased, but I feel like I've been pretty fair here. I've given Jason a couple good wins here in eras, but I think Halloween Kills Michael Myers is the apex predator. I don't think I've never seen anything out of the big three like Halloween Kills Michael Myers. I would put him up against any performance in the big three from Halloween Kills and say he could probably take you. He might lose some limbs, but I think he's going to walk away the victor. So where does that leave us at the end of the day? Like I said, the pros and cons for each one. Pros for Jason. He's big. He's strong. He's animalistic. He is calculated. Michael Myers. He's smart. He is very, very slick. And on top of that, he is the embodiment of evil. He's almost driven by something that isn't of mankind. And we clearly see that in Halloween Ends when it transfers to Corey, and Corey's damn near unstoppable until he meets Laurie Strode. But again, this isn't about Halloween Ends, okay? Having said all of that, larger body of work, probably Jason. But that's not the question here. Choose your fighter. Choose your fighter in a knockdown, drag-out fight at their apex. Who wins? Michael Myers from Halloween Kills would whoop that deformed crybaby's ass. He'd put him back in that lake and make him stay there for another 30 years. That's right. I said it. I have pissed so many Friday the 13th fans off right now. They are seething. They're typing out their comments to me. Don't care. Michael Myers in Halloween Kills would whoop his ass, would whoop Freddy's ass with one hand tied behind his back. It's a fact. Take it to the bank. Mic drop. Now, I was very matter of fact in that, and it might have pissed some people off, because if it were the inverse of it, I would have been pissed off as a Halloween fan. But let me just say, it's just my opinion, guys. There's actually no way to know this. We have no way to know. This is just, who do you think at their best would win? And I think that Michael Myers in Halloween Kills is the most beastly Michael Myers has ever been, and he would whoop anyone's ass, personally. Aside from like Pinhead, or Freddy in the Dream World. I mean, nobody stands a chance against Freddy in the Dream World. But having said that, I want to know what you guys think down below. I think that it is fair to admit that in different eras, each one would have their wins. But at their absolute peak, who wins and why? Please let me know down below. Please don't rail me too hard for just giving my opinion, but even if you do, I'll smile and throw you a heart. Leave a like on this video. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. This is Nick at the Lost River Drive-In, and I am pulling out.